Hello everybody, it's Stewart A. Swerdlow.
And Diane Mourglia-Swerdlow.
For Expansions.com, and we have a very special podcast today. Our special guest is a world-famous jazz musician by the name of Andrew D'Angelo. And Andrew, welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, Andrew.
Yeah, hello, Janet.
Yeah. You know, it's been so long since I know you, I can't remember how we even met.
Well, how did we meet? That's an interesting question. About, I think it was 4 years ago. Yeah, 4 years ago now I was diagnosed with what was called at the time terminal brain cancer. In my right frontal lobe I had a tumor, which I had subsequently removed by 2 surgeries. And I decided that I didn't want to, first of all, I didn't want to die, at least not from brain cancer. And I wanted to do it as naturally as possible, so I didn't do chemo or radiation. And I went on the internet just looking for answers. And I think now I would say I let Oversoul guide me to somebody or some information. And I came upon your website, Expansions.com, and I asked you a question on the old Q&A. And you answered like...
Was I nasty?
No, you were totally cool. The post before you've been talking about frequency. I was like, frequency, what does that mean? And so I said, you know, does having brain surgery change my frequency? And you answered, nothing can change your frequency. And you said, actually, the surgery may have stimulated parts of your brain that were before dormant or not being used. And anyway, that was just the beginning. Then we had 3 consultations, I think. Anyway, I was like, I'm talking to this guy. And you gave me just wonderful advice about what to do and how to heal myself.
And then you came to a conference, 2 conferences.
I came to the first True World History conference, actually, yeah. It was really great, actually. And then I came to the one after that, the next year, which I guess was the second True World History. Yeah, part 2. I missed part 3.
Well, actually, that was part 3 because we did part 1 and 2 all in the same year.
Oh, that's what it was.
So you came back
I came back like a month later or something. At this particular conference, I was on tour, so I couldn't join you. And I found the things that you had to say and the work that you do was just fascinating to me, because you really, both you and Janet, hand the power over to the person, and about not being a victim and about understanding the mind pattern behind the disease and taking ownership of it, basically. And you guys like to use this word surpass instead of survive. So many times in cancer and disease, like, I survived. But you know, this really, what does this mean? This means it could happen again.
You have a reason to go on.
That's right. And so surpass. I was like, I'm going to surpass this. I don't want to revisit cancer ever again in my life.
Can we talk about that surgery for a little bit?
Sure.
Okay. Because the first surgery you had, they didn't remove the whole thing.
No.
They actually only removed the center.
The way it was told to me, when I went to see got my like 3rd opinion or something, they just took the pit out of the olive, basically just the center.
And what did we think that was?
We thought it was an implant, actually. And I personally, when you said that to me, I wanted to hang up the phone. I was like, this guy is, what? An implant? And then I looked at the scan, the MRI myself, and there was just a little hole. And I looked at the report, and they said it was calcified remains. They called it calcified remains. They said tumor. But your thought was that they took out the implant, and then they...
Why would they leave the rest of it? And so you had to have a second surgery to finish the...
That's why I didn't have to, but I chose to. And because I'm one of these guys, I like to get it done. So I wanted to get it out of there. I wanted to get working on my mind pattern and get my body healthy again. And but that first surgery, well, as you know, was just a disaster for me physically. So, and the name, I shouldn't say the name of the doctor probably.
No, but that happened in the United States.
That was in New York City.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And didn't you have a second opinion in Seattle?
Well, nobody in New York would give me an answer. In fact, I went to a hospital, another hospital, and they said, no, it's fine. We can radiate the rest of the tumor. There's not that much. They said, there's not that much left. And my friend, she said, I just don't believe them. I'm going to take you to Seattle, and we're going to get another opinion. And we did, and that's where they said, there's quite a bit of that tumor left, like 90%.
But you had assumed they had taken it all out?
Well, that's an interesting question, because, you know, if you think about your intuition and if you think about Oversoul, and there was just something about me that was thinking, this is not finished, you know, really. But yes, the assumption, the conscious assumption was, yeah, they got it all, and that's it, you know, until actually I went and I saw the MRI scan. So it was a matter of, I think about 10 days. That happened 2 weeks after the first surgery, and then I was back in the hospital having another brain surgery.
You couldn't even heal from originally.
Well, actually, they like that because then the bone, your skull has not healed back together, so they don't have to, you know.
But that's hard on your body.
Yeah. But to be honest with you, all the doctors, and especially the anesthesiologist, however you say that word, was they were impressed about how relaxed I was and how well I was doing, because I knew from you both, and also from I was working with another intuitive in New York.
Are you cheating on me?
Yeah, see, I told everybody this week that you had said that.
It's okay, Andrew, fine, that's come out like this in public, but that's okay.
And there was just a part of me that knew being positive and having the knowing that I was going to be healthy again was really important to me. And I'm getting emotional about this, but...
Well, that is an emotional thing that happened to you. Who couldn't be? But you used hyperspace techniques.
I did. You got me going on that, but also I actually got Decoding Your Life first. And I started reading that and the affirmations. You know, I released the need for cancer. My body's now 100% healthy. Think about how many times you're sick and you say to yourself, oh my God, I'm going to die from this. Or, oh, I'm so sick. Or, you know, I can't get rid of this Lyme disease. Or, you know, you're really just sort of reinforcing and manifesting exactly what you're asking for. And I, for some reason, very early on, via your book and your work, I just knew that there was a way, there was a path. You actually had me changing my path, my direction. If I had chosen this, it was like, no, we're going to go over here. You know what I mean?
Well, it's good that you paid attention and you did the work yourself. Really
well, I love you. What can I say?
And now you are using hyperspace techniques in your performances.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've pretty much decided that my reason for being here is to bring this information to people via my music. And I mean this information being hyperspace work, Oversoul, the basic connection to God-mind that we all have. Doing things like using frequency when I play, like not unlike Janet's toning, and looking at the audience and seeing what they're asking for and what my Oversoul says that they need, and giving them that. Sometimes if Oversoul allows, I put the golden winged lion in the middle of the venue, or I might put the Oversoul symbol, the silver infinity, and this seems to really impact the audience. Really, it's fascinating.
Excellent.
Yeah. Well, I know we talked about you have to have color, tone, and archetype in order to connect. And so therefore, if this is in your frequency and you put it into the other, into the people that are listening, that's obviously going to help open their ears to Oversoul level.
Mm-hmm. And the really interesting part for me, Janet, is that they react. I mean, they come and they want to talk to me about it. What was that? I mean, it wasn't just the music. There's something going on. And so those who approach me, I assume that they, you know,
they're getting it.
They know that
when they're open and they're ready. That's fabulous.
And now it's been, let's say, 3 years since I was full on using your work, and now some of those people are still with me that I met 3 years ago, and it's a fascinating experience because, you know, before this happened, before I had the brain tumor and discovered your work, and I'm so actually on some level I'm so grateful to have gone through that and had that experience, because I'm not sure I would have found this direction. And it's just wonderful to be able to help people, and then they help me, and the whole world just becomes just a better place, I believe.
I think what you said is important, because I think people sometimes look at their trials that they go through, and it's woe is me.
Yeah.
But you looked at that as a strengthening point for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And again, now people are going to listen, because you not only are talking about it, but you actually lived it. You know, this was your life that you went in, you experienced all the pains, all the things that so many people are afraid of happening to them. You actually lived that, and you overcame your fear, and you moved yourself right along with it. As you said, you didn't stay a survivor of it, you stayed a surpasser. You walked out of the frequency, and by walking out of that cancer frequency, you can therefore show other people how to walk out of that frequency as well. So that takes a very unique individual to be able to do that and not succumb to what is put out there for the general masses to hold on to. You said, forget that noise, I have my own tune, and basically you're playing your own tune.
Yeah.
And those who can hear that tune, the Pied Piper, except on a positive level.
Right.
Right? You're leading them into their own personal empowerment versus away from their personal empowerment.
And I think that's really important. You know, the first thing, the woe is me. That's the victim mentality that you both talk about in programming and in health and in, you know, I am not going to be a victim. I am not going to the pharmacy every week for the rest of my life. No way. And I set my mind to not be a victim of cancer, not be a victim of the, you know, Western medical world. And you really teach that a lot of that. Well, you both do, actually.
And that's what we're going to be focusing on in our April seminar, which is actually called death, disease, detox, and determination. And we're going to talk about people like yourself who actually have some life-threatening or chronic type of things going on who no longer have that in them anymore, and why. And what's the difference between you and somebody that repeats the same thing a billion different times in their life until either they finally succumb or something happens on the other side. So you have something unique within yourself that you are actually implanting into the collective unconscious just by being, by having accomplished what you did. It's a whole new way of living for most people. Wow. So in April, those of you who want to join us and learn more about these kind of things, please come to our seminar in April, because we're focusing on this sort of thing.
And if you've never been to one of their seminars, they're fantastic, the ones that I've attended. And I just attended one this week, right?
Yes.
The OMG Oversoul Mastermind Group, week-long intensive. In fact, all of my peers and colleagues and friends, new friends, are standing here supporting and watching behind the camera. And I have to tell you, this was a fascinating, incredible week for me.
It was a great week with a great group of people.
Great. And the stuff, the things that you guys brought to the table, literally, you can't see it, but there's a big table here. We all sat around it. And the things that they brought to this table, Janet and Stewart, were life-changing, astounding, fascinating, challenging, and progressive, and mostly expansive. I feel, I know everyone in the group. How many were there of us? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
There were several.
9. There were several. There were several, and I know that everybody, expanded together, and I think that you even said that was pretty unique for this experience.
Yeah, it was a fabulous group,
amazing.
very unified group.
Yeah.
And everybody helped each other, they looked after each other, they encouraged everybody. It was a great, great group. It was amazing.
And speaking of great and amazing, how about you playing for us?
Sure, I'd love to.
Fabulous.
Okay.
Centering, you have something that's going up your center, obviously, very deep in black, and of course we have our silver oversoul. It's amazing.
I was just thinking about that. Yeah, black.
Do you know what instrument it is?
Yes.
I call it a saxophone. Am I
It's a
correct?
clarinet. It's a bass clarinet.
Oh, you're kidding. Now that I
No,
did
not a
know.
lot of people have seen this instrument,
Then I
actually.
don't.
Yeah, it's pretty unusual that I play it, but
Did you play that in Iceland?
I did.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Yeah, I did one song on it.
That's interesting. No, I did not know that a bass clarinet was a cool.
Yeah, well, the bass, they put the bell on it, so otherwise the sound would just go straight to the
down.
ground.
Interesting.
It would ground. And I like it too, 'cause I think it's a very grounding instrument, actually, because it goes very low.
Yeah.
And you know, during this week, the OMG week, Janet did some toning with us, which, by the way, was great. I mean, I have never toned with you, and I hope that someday we get to work together. I really like that.
That would be nice.
And so she had the whole group toning to, what was it, to different people, but at the same time. And so it was just this, and because the group was so connected on many levels, actually, that it was very powerful for me, very, very powerful. And when we did the visualizations too, it wasn't just me visualizing, it was like this whole group of people accessing information Really, really, really.
And we
like
talked
it.
about that, how each person is a part of the battery, and together that we boost each other, but we don't take from each other. And I think that's a new concept. I know in the new age was, everybody join together and put your energy. Well, we're doing it in a clean way. We're not doing it where we're intermingling and mixing frequencies. We're doing it in a clean way so that we're still boosting, but yet you still maintain your own individuality within the group.
Wonderful.
Do you prefer this instrument over the other one?
The saxophone?
Yeah.
I actually do. The difficulty with this instrument is volume. So depending on the size of the band that I'm with, sometimes it's harder to hear as from an audience perspective. So I get more higher frequencies and more higher frequencies that really shoot farther out from the saxophone, where this is maybe a softer, lower grounding frequency. So it just depends on the venue and the band I'm with. But I do prefer this, actually.
And where can people?
My saxophone is
Where can
right
people
now.
get more information and more music from you?
I have a website in my own name, andrewdeangelo.com, and I'm working on a solo album right now, which won't be out for another few months, but I do have some CDs available on there, and also some downloads that people can check out.
But you play live, I understand. You just got back from a tour in Iceland, correct?
Well, I was in Iceland, I did a concert and some teaching there, and I was in Denmark, and I did 6 concerts in Denmark, and then I flew right here, and I jumped right into the class. Man, it was great. Actually, it was great. I don't know how it was for you guys, but it was a great feeling for me.
So if people want to come hear you, though, I say you're not at their favorite venue or they own a venue, then they would contact you through your website.
Yeah, andrewdeangelo.com. You can contact me through there, and I put my schedule's not working. We're updating the website in February, but you know how that is.
Right.
It's like, just hold on.
That's still in the process.
Right. But I have a gig in New York next week on Friday, so if people live in New York, they can come.
Right, and check out your website for the details or email you. But yes, if any of you out there want to hear him, you know to go to his website, andrewdeangelo.com. Or if you have a venue where you want him to play, or you have a favorite venue that you go to where you think he should be, recommend him because he's fabulous.
Amazing in concert. I saw a concert he did in Iceland and almost took the roof off of the building. I didn't think anyone had that much energy. I was like, where's that coming from? Yeah.
You know where it's coming from.
It was incredible.
Thank you. That was fun. It was a fun concert. That was last year, right?
Yes.
February last
Yes,
year.
it was.
Some March or something.
March, I
yeah.
think, yeah.
And you're going to do a conference there, right?
In May.
May.
May 2000.
In Reykjavik. Everybody meet in Reykjavik.
Yeah.
Happening place.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't think of anything else, but I appreciate that you coming and sharing your unique talents with us, and I appreciate the fact that you shared who and what you are within our group here. It's been a fabulous addition.
Yes.
Thank you.
And it's been a wonderful journey for all of us to hear how you've done, and of course for Stewart and I, it's always very satisfying when that we offer these tools and techniques and people take them. Again, we're not healers, we're not healing you, you did it yourself. That's an amazing thing that you can say. And then you go on and you share and you help other people. So it's one hand helps another, so to speak. So that's wonderful that you are
Yes. Thank you, Andrew.
doing what you're doing.
You both very much. And Janet, by the way, thank you for the wonderful food. Janet cooked us some food this week. Oh, it was so good. Thank you so much to both of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
So we look forward to being with you again one of these days
Great.
soon.
I'm sure we will.
Me too. Oh, good.
And thank you very much for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next time.